Okay, so today I will be taking my mock interview for Deloitte, and I have collected all these questions from the candidates who have experienced these questions while at interview. So, I will use these questions for the mock interview, and you are welcome to share your feedback on my performance. Okay. By the way, this is just for my practice purpose. Okay. I will share these questions in the description. Okay. Let's start. Let's start with the first question. What is immutable class in Java? How do you implement one? Okay, so this question. Immutable class. I think this is related to the records in Java. So, we can create a record for a particular class, and what it will do, it will make all the fields as final. So once these fields are initialized, it will make all the fields as constant. So let's say one class contain let's there the let's suppose we have created a person record, and there are two fields, name and ID. So once we create an object of that, those fields will be constant. Okay, so the first question is done. Now second question. Today I will say I was not good at answering first question. Now second question. How does immutability help in multi-threading? So we can say in concurrency problems or multi-threading problem, immutability helps like this. If there's a constant value, or we are using a immutable class in the multi-threading environment. So one thread can't change the value. If one thread is not able to change the value, that means that value is constant for the other thread as well. So here immutability solves the common problem in multi-threading, that is the concurrency problem. Okay, I think for the second question as well, I was not at all clear. Now coming to the third question, what is the purpose of serialization in a POJO, and where is it commonly used? What is the purpose of serialization in a POJO? Like we know serialization means converting an object into the byte string, if I am not wrong. So I would say for third question as well, I have to work on the serialization in POJO. Okay. Now talking about the fourth question, suppose you need to send a Java object over a network in a distributed application. Okay, what challenges might arise and how would you handle them? So honestly, I have to make the solution. I have to think on that. So for this as well, I don't have a good practice. What is a singleton pattern? How can you implement it in Java? So singleton means only one instance. Like we have to create one class, and we have to do some settings, or we have to make a class in that manner. So only one instance of that class can be created. Let's suppose there is a class called person, and in order to make it a singleton, in order to make this class follow singleton pattern, we can create one field with a person class and make this as final and static, and after that we can create one private constructor. Okay, and then we can make one method which will return the object of this class. Okay, and the name of the method would be get instance, and inside this method we can put the condition if person object is equals to null, then we will create it, otherwise we will return the same object. Okay, so for this one, I would say explanation was not good, but answer was correct. So I would say partial correct. Now talking about the sixth question, how should you modify a singleton implementation to make a thread safe in a multi-threaded environment? Like I can make that method as like synchronized. Okay, or I can make the if condition just a condition. But I know only this condition. So for that one as well, partial correct. Now talking about the seventh question, what is the hash code equal contract and why is it important? So if you are implementing, if you are overriding the hash code method, then you also need to override the equals method as well, because in the hash map, with the help of hash code we find out the like in which bucket we have to put our key value pair, and now based on the equals method we have to decide, we have to handle the hash collision. Like okay, so yeah, this is my answer. Okay, but what I would say, I was partially correct because I understand my explanation was not good. And answer maybe, so I would say partial. Now, eighth question, what could go wrong if you override equal but do not override hash code when storing object in a hash map? If we override equals, so hash code will have a default implementation. Basically, I don't know the answer. Now, coming to the ninth question, what happens if a hash function always returns the same value? What happens if a hash function always returns the same value? That means only like we are like we have to put the elements in the same bucket. Multiple hash collision will occur. Okay. So I would say explanation was not for partial. Tenth as well. What would be the performance impact of poorly designed hash function that causes collision? So I don't know the answer. What is the difference between fail fast and fail safe iterator? Yeah, I know the answer. So fail pass, like if we create a iterator of a particular collection, and now if we try to iterate, and now if we and while iterating, if we try to modify the collection, so in that case we will get a concurrent modification error. Content modification. So this is an example of fail path. So hash map is an example of it. And now talking about the fail filtrator. If we are not getting any kind of content modification error while iterating the collection, so this is an example of fail filtrator. And content hash map is an example of it, because content hash. So while creating the iterator, we are actually creating a copy of a hash map. Okay. So yeah, I look for this one seems to be correct. Now, 12th question. If you need to remove element while iterating over a collection, which type of iterator would you use? Which type of iterator would I use? Like collection, so obviously I would use a content hash map. But they are talking about the iterator, so I don't know. 13th question now. How do you handle global exception in a Spring Boot application? So for that we have to use the @controller advice annotation, and inside that class we can define all the exception handlers. Okay. Partial, because the explanation was not good. What are the difference between @controller and @rest controller on the Spring Boot? Yeah, I know that. To make a particular class a controller, that means it will handle all the HTTP requests. So for that we have to use the controller annotation in order to make a class handle the, like in order to make a class or the like to handle all the REST API request. We have to annotate that class with the @rest controller, and rest controller is a combination of controller plus @request body. Okay, so I would say partial correct. 15th question. If you want to return both HTML views and JSON responses from a single contact class, HTML views and JSON. So I don't know. Can a controller return a string or JSON response? JSON response I know. Or can you that REST controller? And I am not sure about the string. So partial. Now 17th question. How can we use the iterate value notation? I don't know. 18th. Now what happens if two beans of the same type exist the string, and you do not use @qualifier annotation? So we can make one of them as primary. In order to make them primary, I can use @primary annotation. Let me put it in partial. Okay. What is the @qualifier annotation? What I use? So with the help of @qualifier annotation, we are calling only the particular bean if two beans exist that belongs to the same class. I would say less than partial. I would say cross. Like I don't know the exact answer. But explain solid principles. Like the first one is the open and close list of substitution principle. Okay. Interface segregation, dependency inversion. Yeah, as it for the single responsibility principle. I would say cross. By the way, I know the answer of this, but for like I may lack in the explanation. Suppose you are designing an e-commerce system where new payment method needs to be added frequently. How can solid principle help me? Obviously, I don't know the answer. No, 22. What is the difference between array list and linked list? When would you use one over the other? So, array list is array list is a collection which is made from which is backed by the array, and the main advantage of array list over the arrays, like it has a dynamic size. Okay, now talking about the linked list, it is made with the help of a with the help of a queue data structure. I think. Now talking about let me just talk about the which word to use on when. Okay. I will use arrays for fast search operation, and I will use linked list for fast insertion and deletion. Okay. If you need to implement a queue that frequently adds and removes elements for both ends, which list would be better choice? Okay, I will use linked list, okay, because if I can use a doubly linked list, I can insert the element from both ends and remove the element from both ends. Doubly linked list, right? So for this one, so for 22 it's partial. For 23, I would say I like in lot of question I like in the explanation skill. Now talking 24, what are clustered and non-clustered text? I don't know. Explain the many-to-many association you have on it. I don't know. So this one down to something 8, 9, 10, 5. I would say 5 out of 25. I know it's too bad, but let's just honest 5 out of 25. You can share your solution in the comment.